When I hear people say, oh, it's hard, or I don't have time, etc., all you're doing is telling me you're a loser. Every single winner feels the same as you do. The difference is they do not quit. They do not give up. They do not make excuses. They stay on the highway. It's amazing what you can achieve if you never give up. There are winners and losers in the world. You are either a winner who dedicates himself, never gives up, continues to learn, does everything he knows he needs to do regardless of how he feels, or you're a loser who makes excuses and you stay invisible for the rest of human time. There is no such thing as a successful person without a failure. Without the failures, there's no success. You need both. For there to be winners, there has to be losers. Therefore, if God is going to give you the chance to become a successful person, He has to make it difficult. He has to lay out a gauntlet, because within that gauntlet, some people will quit and they can go become losers, which allow the people who do not quit to be winners.
I don't believe that God will ever put you in a position where you get to tell the entire world how masculinity and how rigid mental model and how an iron mind works without ever being tested. How do you end up in a position where you get to go through life saying, this is mental fortitude, this is how you should think, this is how you be resilient, and nothing ever happened to you? And you just get to go around talking about resilience, driving around in Ferraris and having a nice, easy life. Of course, you have to go through bad things to understand that mentality, but bad things are always going to happen to people who have that mentality, I'd like to think, because God is going to test and make sure you're genuine about it, which is why Jordan Peterson's fallen off. He was really looked up to and respected, and then he got into some difficulties and became a drug addict. To sit and tell people how to think and how they should look at the world and what mental model they should adopt and then become a drug addict because you get stressed about your wife having cancer, she didn't even die. It's just hypocritical. So he put himself in a position as a master of mental models, and God said, okay, let's test you. And he failed. I was in a position of master of mental models, and God tested me, and I passed. I don't lie to God because I promise the things I say I mean. And I really don't think I've even been through anything that difficult. Yeah, I went to jail. Yeah, I was locked in my house for 3 years. Yeah, they took all my money. Yeah, they stopped my mom, seeing my mom when she had a heart attack. Yeah, they've tried to destroy my reputation. Yes, they insult me in the new media, blah, 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 blah. But I'm of the frame of mind where I don't feel self-pity at all. That's not how I operate. So I don't even think it was that hard. I mean, it could be worse. So people come up to me and they go, man, what they did to you is it's a shame. It's so sad. I'm like, well, yeah, a bit, but I promised God I am the man I said I was. So I got a chance to prove I am the man I said I was. And heaven forbid something worse happens to me. I hope it doesn't. But if it does, then I'll be exactly the same.
You must change your attitude towards problems and see them as a blessing. There is nothing worse than living in the eternal still, the ether of insignificance, where you have no problems. It is stagnation, which is destructive for the male soul. It's perhaps the most destructive thing. You don't want that life. It is torturous. Men only become good men through negativity. Men who have been through a lot of pain are very kind. The worst men on earth are the ones who haven't had enough pain. You're supposed to suffer as a man. You're born to suffer. Because you're not what happens to you. You are how you react to it.
This is one of the things when I say like depression isn't real. People say, oh, you don't understand. Let me counter that argument by saying, I understand very well. Me convincing myself and me deciding that depression isn't real is how I prevent myself from ever feeling depressed. I've only constructed that mental model because I've been in situations in my life where I felt depressed. I'm not saying depression isn't real because I've never felt depressed. I'm saying depression isn't real because I've been very depressed. I understand struggle and mental health and all these things. And yeah, jail was another chance to certainly touch on them, because in real life, when you have my kind of resource, you can distract yourself. If you're sitting around and feel a bit mopey, I can literally make a phone call and in 45 minutes be in the air on my way to anywhere on the planet to do anything I want. I'm not saying it fixes all mental health, but it distracts you. Whereas in jail, you are stuck alone with your thoughts. And it was certainly a test of my mental resolve. And I would say that I passed. There was never a day where I broke down. There was never a day where I couldn't handle it. There was never a day I couldn't hack it. It was certainly a test. And also, you go through life telling everyone you're the baddest motherfucker there is. Sooner or later, someone's going to test you. You walk in the pub and you say, I'm the hardest man there is. Sooner or later, someone's going to fight you. And life's like that. You want to be the top G and you want to go through life and say, I'm the top G. Then God's going to say, well, we're going to see if you deserve to call yourself the top G or not. We're going to put you in a Romanian jail cell. We're going to leave you there to rot. And the biggest mindfuck is I thought I was going to be in there for years. Everyone's telling me years. So maybe God was just seeing, he was watching me and he was having a look and saying, you want to call yourself top G? Let's see. Life as a man is pretty shit. And you're going to feel shit for a pretty large percentage of the time. But you're only going to ever escape that if you just perform regardless. As a man, you can't say, I will perform when I feel good. It doesn't work that way because our heads are too complicated and life's too complicated. There's too much on our shoulders. And we have too much stress and too much pressure. You have to be the kind of person who says, I perform regardless. I have to believe it's going to make me a better person. What did I go for? To waste 3 months? To stare at a wall for 3 months? Is that why I went to jail? No, I must have gone to jail to become a better person. I must have learned something. I have to self-analyze and find the lessons and pick it out. And I think a lot of people don't do that with all the bad situations in their life. Regardless of whether you went to jail or a woman left you or your business failed, whatever it is, you need to analyze the entire situation and say, okay, what can I learn? So I've just tried to look at it as a massive learning experience, and perhaps that's a coping mechanism, but I've found a lot of lessons which I'm implementing. And there's a very strong chance they're going to put me back.
As a man, there is no easy life. If you're looking for an easy life, you should have been a girl. All of the pain you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two effective binary choices. You either go through the suffering and go through the hardship it takes to be a man of value, or you suffer eternity as a nobody.
Every single man of value went through trauma. It's going to be painful to get strong, painful to get rich. Your heart's going to get broken a bunch of times. You have to be prepared for the pain. If you're not ready for pain, you're never going to be anything that matters.
In the end, God gives you exactly what you deserve. So if you're not happy with your life, you have to ask yourself, do you really deserve more? Have you really tried 100% of the time? Are you as competent as you could possibly be? You want a Lambo and these women and a boat and whatever else you want because you see it on Instagram, but wanting something and deserving something are very different things. If you truly deserved it, you'd be working for it in a way that ensures it would be given to you by the universe. It's very hard to inspire people to take initiative to save themselves. Even if you try and help normies, most of them are beyond help because they are self-sabotaging and lazy. I like people who sit and say, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do something. I don't know what to do, but inaction in and of itself is an action. I want you to understand how my mind works. My core principle is endless work, endless attack. That is how you win in the end. Perseverance is the key. Making things happen is the masculine essence to how you should approach the world. You're only going to be rewarded if you differentiate yourself from the crowd via effort. You should feel genuinely worried about wasting a single second. You have a chance from God because you're breathing. You have a chance right now to get things done. If you want something, you find time. If you can sleep just fine being broke, then guess what? You're always going to be broke. There's no such thing as don't have time. That's all garbage. If you don't work for something or you're not prepared to suffer or struggle for something, then you don't love it and you don't believe in it anyway. Right. If you're not working for it, then you don't love it anyway. Most people go through their entire adult life without trying 100% hardly ever. Even when you go to the gym, you don't try 100%. Do you really try 100% with work? And it's interesting because we're entering the most competitive period of human history. Don't do it if you're not going to try. It's a bad habit to spend time and waste it. It's a bad habit to go, I tried. Yeah, at least I went. It's going that matters. If you're going to go, do it. If you're going to do it right. There's no point in half doing anything. You may as well have not done it at all. If you lose, you deserve to lose because you didn't take action. If you take action, you will win.
You see that fucking Bugatti next to the Ferrari? You think I got them being a fucking quitter? You think I gave up when shit got hard to get that fucking car? That car is nothing but a symbol to the fact that I don't quit.
Until you have had the taste of finishing, you will not respect yourself. Until something is done, come hell or high water, tears and struggles and pain, and you go through it anyway, and you continue to fight on no matter the circumstances. After a while, something begins to wither inside of you.
You're going to have such a period in your life where it seems like it's not working. And everybody has a turn back moment. Where the direction you're going, you will have to make a decision to keep going or you turn back.
And what we have got to do is know there's a power in you that regardless of what happens to you, you can stand up inside of yourself. I think that's what the poet meant when he says, out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods there may be for my unconquerable soul. You have an unconquerable soul.
See, some people quit because things are out of control. The moment you get in something where you don't get your way, the first thing the immature mind says is, this is ridiculous, I quit. I never will forget, I had a friend of mine who was much older than me, who was going through a real tough time in his marriage. I told him, you ought to get out. I watched him suffer so bad, I thought you ought to quit. And I watched him take so many blows in his heart, in his masculinity, that it was so hard to watch. I wanted him to divorce her so I didn't have to see it. He stayed. And then sickness came in. And he stuck it out to the end. I mean, to the end. And I was at the funeral. I remember thinking, you finished. You went all the way to the end. Better and worse and sickness and health. You went through all of that stuff. It was amazing to see somebody who finished. The danger of living a life of incompletes. Nobody can count on you to stay. Forget winning. You don't have to be a superhero to stick it out, to endure. They used to come in my office and say, I'm leaving him because he's beaten me. Now they come in my office, they say, I'm leaving because I'm not happy. Who told you you was gonna be happy? Who do you know in your life that is happy all the time? To the person who keeps quitting, you have to live with that infection, that propensity to never finish. Are there any fighters in here? I fought my way up. I fought to get to work. I fought to stand. I fought to carry on. I fought to get out the bed. I fought with my fears, my anxieties, my insecurities. I fought with haters, backbiters, and betrayers. And many times I laid in the bed, I couldn't go to sleep because I was fighting with myself. I fought a good fight. I lost a lot of stuff. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of money. Down on my knees, I was still believing. Lonely, I was believing. Betrayed, I was. If you lose a job, keep the faith. If you have to move in with your mama, keep the faith. If you have to catch the bus, keep the faith. If you get sick, keep the faith. If you got heart trouble, keep the faith. You might not get a new heart, but you got to keep your faith.
Keep praising, keep thanking. That's when the miracle is going to take place. My business is still slow. Keep on walking. These people at work are still not treating me right. Keep on walking. God sees your obedience. He hears you praising when you could be complaining. He sees you stretching when you could be shrinking back. When you prove to God that you're going to do the right thing even when it's hard, then you're going to see God do awesome things in your life.